Welcome back to episode 7 of the Completely Pointless Podcast. Today you got your normals with me. I'm Jeremy, and I'm accompanied by.
Nick.
And I'm Brandon.
And today, I didn't really have a whole lot I wanted to talk to you guys, but I did just wanted to I wanted to talk about, like, TV shows and movies. Just because I recently watched Community, which is a great show. If you haven't watched it, you definitely should. But it just kind of got me thinking about all the like garbage movies and shows that I've never watched that are really great. So I just wanted to get y'all's opinions on like what would y'all say is y'all's favorite TV show?
Ooh, this is kind of a tough one because
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of newer shows really. I there's certain ones I'm okay with, but for the most part, they kind of bore me.
Mhm.
Uh, I really shows or can it be a cartoon?
Anything, any even like
Anything?
movies, uh, shows. Because I have like a couple of different answers depending on what like genre we're getting into.
It's not my favorite, but something I think a movie that I think is really underrated is The Dead Don't Die
I've never seen it.
with Bill Murray, I think it is, or Tom Hanks or some shit. I always get the two confused, but dude, that it's really funny because they break the fourth wall a lot and stuff like that. It's really cool, and it's just a weird kind of dumb movie
Yeah,
that I
is it
really like.
like a zombie movie?
Yeah, somewhat. Like that's not the only thing with it, but that's like the main premise, I guess. It's really weird. It's really hilarious though in some instances. So I highly recommend people go check it out. Also, the song "The Dead Don't Die," which is the theme song by
Mm-hmm.
Sturgill Simpson, fucking awesome song.
I don't think I've ever seen it. I know I always kind of gravitate more towards comedies for the most part. At least like the shows I watch the most often are comedies. So, but if I were to pick a favorite one, it would definitely be less of a comedy.
This one's I don't know. It's hard to describe because in some spots it's funny, but for the most part it's kind of serious. I don't know. It's like a hard one to kind of judge like what genre it belongs to. But it's really good, and I think that's why I like it is because it's like hard to place it in a specific genre. At least for me, it was.
Yeah.
But as far as shows go, I mean, dude, I really miss Invader Zim. I feel like that one was just funny. Like it was funny just for the pure sake of being funny.
Yeah, that one
Yeah, that
I
was
was
a
really
really
good
good.
enjoy
one.
that.
I feel like just a lot of the old cartoons hold up really well.
Dude, honestly, there's a new one that I've been watching that's like a kids show, but there are elements in it where that stops being a kids show for like a second when they
Yeah.
make a adult joke, and it's kind of interesting. It's called Centaur World.
Oh, I've seen a bunch of clips
Hmm.
of that online.
It's pretty fucking funny, and it has like little dark moments in it that I love personally.
Yeah.
Like I really enjoy how like childish it is, and then it's not just out of nowhere, and you're like, oh.
Mm-hmm. Brandon, what would you say is the best show ever created, and all other shows suck and should be deleted?
Oh, but I don't think I have a singular show for that. I mean, just like top, like in the top 10 list. I mean, Scrubs has always been a go-to for
Ooh,
me. Uh,
Scrubs.
Scrubs. Um, I don't know. It's just hard to place it
Good one.
sometimes because
Well, so let me ask you this, and it's I wouldn't say this question is the same as what's your favorite TV show, but what's your bored TV show? And by that I mean like when you need background filler, when you just want to turn on a show, you don't have to think about what do you go to, if anything.
uh, I mean, I go to just like usually just to like either YouTube or random like animes that I'm not super invested in.
Yeah.
But if I'm just like just like sitting there just mindless, a show in the background, Scrubs is a good one. Uh I would say The Office is a good one, but I can't really fucking watch that anymore
Wait, why anymore?
because I don't want to fucking pay for another goddamn streaming
Oh, did
service just to
they
watch The Office.
did they take it off of Netflix or something?
It's been taken off of Netflix for like 6 months now.
Oh, okay. Well,
It's
that.
on Peacock or something,
Oh,
but
yeah, that makes sense.
you can watch the first season for free, but then you have to pay to watch any of the other seasons.
Yeah. Well, I have a very uh I don't like The Office. Is basically what I'm trying to say. I don't like The Office, and it's because I think they do what I refer to as cringe comedy, where like Michael Scott will come in and just say the most like off the wall, offensive, like garbage, and then it's just dead silence for like a couple of seconds where the camera's like getting response shots from all the actors and you're supposed to be laughing, but in my soul I'm just cringing like, oh, this is so awkward. This is so awkward. I hate this so much.
I can understand that, but it's one of those where the other parts of the show make it for me. Like I don't really like Michael Scott. Some of the stuff he says is funny, but most of the time it's like you said, it's super fucking cringy. But it's the other character growth in the show that makes me like the show. Like I know
Oh,
Michael
like with
Scott's supposed to
Jim
be
and like his
yeah,
whole fucking plot line and what's her name?
Pam.
Pam.
Pam. Yeah, like
Pan
their
spray.
little relationship thing.
Well, so I've seen The Office all the way through once, just because
Yeah.
it's like, all right, everyone loves this show. I've got to, give it its shot. And so doesn't like in the later seasons, doesn't Jim like cheat on her or something?
No.
Well, he kind of
There's
steals
a
her. He kind of steals her from her current boyfriend in a way. But I mean, you know, it's one of those things.
Well,
there,
yeah,
there's
You
a
can't really
whole
claim. You can't really claim a person.
there's a whole plot line where Jim moves to a different branch and they weren't dating at the time is the thing. But Jim and Pam, but they make it this whole ordeal and then in the end of it Jim is like, no, Pam is the only one I want, this and that. And so he never really cheats on her.
Yeah. I don't know. I just because like whenever I would talk to people about The Office, they would always be like, dude, Jim and Pam's relationship is like the goals, right? Like that's what I want. But then as I was watching, it's like their relationship is kind of bad. They really manipulative towards each other, and like so doesn't in like the last season or something he like joins some kind of like sports, some business related to sports or something,
Yeah.
and so he like leaves town and just is lying to her about what he's doing and like how it's going and like all this shit. And the whole time I'm like, man, this is a very unhealthy relationship.
This is a relationship founded on lies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those weird ones for me too. I like The Office. Don't get me wrong. I actually do really like it as a show. But I mean, there are parts of it where I'm like, oh, okay, this is like Jeremy said, it's just kind of cringy.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, I think it's a really good show.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen way worse. So, but
Yeah,
it's
that's
just not
true.
my thing.
Well, so I would say because they always kind of compare the two of The Office and Parks and Rec. Like they always people kind of lump those two.
See, and I
together.
don't think that's like even a fair
I
comparison.
don't think it's either. I think they're very different shows, but I like
they
Parks
are.
and Rec a lot more than The Office.
Parks and Rec is really good. And that was going to be another one of mine. Like,
Yeah, Parks and Rec is actually one show that I actually watch and like.
Yeah. It's just there's some pretty good comedy. Most of the actors seem like good people. I don't know. It's just one of those shows that I really like.
Also, like the Parks and Rec does the cringe thing, I think, a lot better.
Yeah. Like it feels like they have a character do some kind of cringy like something, but then they immediately have another character that's like why the fuck would you say that? Like instead of
They,
everyone
yeah,
just sitting there in dead silence and you can feel the palpable cringe in the air, someone addresses it, and so then it kind of like takes it like further, you know?
Also, like, even though it's like Andy's really awkward and cringy sometimes,
Yeah.
but I mean, like, he's consistent, I guess, through the whole show. But it's always funny. You know, it's
Yeah,
never
like
anything
it's
that was
it's
like,
off the
ugh.
wall shit, but it's fits
yeah,
in like the situation, right?
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, so like my board show, which I would classify as probably one of my favorite shows of all time, is called
Right.
Psych.
Oh, never heard of that.
Never heard of it? It's a
Uh-uh.
great show. And it's weird because it's a procedural cop show. Like so the whole premise of the show is there's this guy who has like a photographic memory and is just really good at problem solving. And he like solves some crimes, like calls in a bunch of tips to the police, like the police department of his town, and they're like, you wouldn't, like, no one would know this information. It's off the wall shit that someone just made up, but it was right. How did you know this? And so he's like, well, I'm a psychic. And so the whole show is him pretending to be a psychic by like picking up like, oh, there was a wrapper on the floor in this hotel room, and so that means our bad guy is a diabetic, so he must be going to this guy to get his insulin shot. So I'm gonna go there and find him, like just like off the wall shit that he like picks up, and it's hilarious, and I love it so much, and it's the show I always put on when I just need something in the background. But
You said it was Psych.
yeah, Psych. Like, it's even a joke at the end of the first episode where they make a private investigation department or like a PI business, and they call it Psych, and he's like, Psych, as in gotcha, as in I'm lying to you. And it's a
Oh,
great show, and you should watch it. But like, I don't know why that show I love so much, whereas I absolutely despise cop procedural shows like NCIS, CIS, CIS, CSI,
CIS.
CIS, like shows like that. I can't stand them.
see, I don't like shows like that at all either. Like the cop shows or like the forensic shows and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Because
just
like I
get
don't
on
know,
my
it's just kind of it's so
nerves.
predictable and boring. I'm like that's my problem with most shows. So I'm gonna go out and watch a show that is pretty much like made to be predictable and boring.
Yeah,
Yeah. So what's a show that y'all will put on to, like, if you just need to laugh?
Hmm.
mine. I mean, mine would probably be Psych. Honestly, like that's my like go-to be happy show.
This might
Yeah.
be one y'all don't expect. Any slice of life anime.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I can see that. I didn't
Yeah.
think you were
Literally
a
any
big
of them.
anime fan.
I fucking dude, slice of life anime is my guilty pleasure. Like I feel bad for watching it because you know it's kind of gay, but dude, they're so fucking good. I'm like, holy shit! It's and the reason they make me laugh is because they're always like so over the top and just ridiculous with like the dude's reactions to everything, and that shit cracks me up.
Yeah. Right. There's like a specific amount. I feel like just with anime in general, it's just so over the top most of the times that even when they say just some like off
Dark
the
serious
wall
shit.
garbage shit, like you're just like, that's hilarious.
So my just have to laugh show is Letterkenny.
Ooh, that's such a good
It's
one, dude. I feel like
it
that show's so
is
underrated.
it is. It
It's
really
so
is.
fucking good. I
Because
love Letterkenny.
I'll tell somebody about it and they're like, "What the fuck is that?" And I have to explain it, and it's just, well, it's a show about Canadian hicks.
And it's great. Dude, it
It is
works
so
so
good.
fucking good. The wordplay is awesome.
Dude, it's Jared Kuso, I think is his name, is like the head writer. He is so fucking talented with just the way he puts words together.
Yeah.
And it is a fantastic show, and it will have you rolling the entire time you're watching it.
You have a lyrical way of cutting through the bullshit, as some would say. That's not a quote from the show. It's just
Yeah.
something I heard said.
See, that's one
I
of
think it's
those
from like
shows that,
Smoking the Bandit or Convoy or something.
yeah, Letterkenny is one of those shows that Brandon, you have suggested to me a couple of times, and I've seen like clips of it, and it, like some of the clips, I'm like, oh, that's pretty funny, but it just, I don't know why, I just don't have any desire to watch it.
It's one of those. I feel like it's for specific kind of people
Yeah.
too. Like,
It's just a very like. I don't want to. I don't know how to explain it. It's one of those that it's just the wordplay and just the way they bounce stuff off of each other is what makes it good for me.
Yeah,
same.
it feels like kind of improvisational.
Yeah, a little bit.
To that, well, mainly it's like the skill involved because like the way they say shit, it comes off like almost like rapping, like but just with talking.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoy that, and they do it in a funny way, so it makes it even more impressive because they're doing, basically vocal aerobics while being funny, and I think that's really
Yeah.
impressive and just nice to watch. It's
Well, and so
really easy to watch too.
Jeremy saying it's kind of improvisational brings up another one of my board shows is Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
That's a
that's a
good
really
one.
good one too.
Because they're fucking geniuses.
yeah,
Yeah.
some of the shit they come up with and the way they like play it off of each other, like it's like you'll watch a skit and you'll think it was planned. Like you think
Yeah.
they were each given a script, like, all right, this is what you're gonna do, this is the character you're playing, blah 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 blah, and then they just fucking nail it, and you're like, man, that was really good. Who wrote that skit? And you're like, no, that was all made up on the
Their
spot.
brains wrote it.
It's insane too. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean the level of skill it takes to do that.
It's,
But yeah,
and just brain power.
Letterkenny falls into that for me.
Yeah, same. It's really cool just to watch people be able to talk like that because I struggle with words just normally.
yeah.
And I mean Letterkenny is scripted, but
Still, I mean,
It
Christ.
flows good enough that you forget that it's scripted.
yeah.
Like that's like I was saying, I recently watched Community for the first time, which if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's very good. But a lot of the stuff they do just seems so random and improvised and off the wall, even though it's not. I mean, I'm sure some of the lines were improvised and then they, kind of ran through a couple iterations till they got it down. But it's just one of those shows that it feels, and this is, now that I'm thinking of it, it's going to sound really sad that I say this, but it feels like they're all good friends. Like it feels like a group of people that I would want to be friends with.
Oh, so it feels like real.
Yeah, like it just feels like they actually have good chemistry together, and they probably do. As actors or whatever, they probably get along pretty well. But it just
Sure.
feels like a situation like, man, I wish I could be like they're going to a community college for like 6 years or some garbage. Like, man, I wish I could be there with them, living my best
Makes
life.
you want to go to college.
No, God, no, nothing can make me want that. But so like,
I haven't seen it yet, so I can't really talk on it.
it's very
But I've
good.
heard a lot of people always talk really good about it.
It's really good, and they do a lot of meta comedy. So there's one character whose name is Abed, and I don't think they ever confirm it, but he's definitely like has Asperger's or some kind of autism. Like he's off, and he relates everything through like movie tropes or show tropes. And so like the whole time he's like, yeah, this is season 2 of the show, and it is season 2 of the show, but it's their second year in college. So like he does all this meta comedy that really like, I don't know. I find it really funny, and it's just one of those I feel like my funny bone gets tickled by shows that are acting like they're really smart.
Yeah.
Willing
Like-
to acknowledge that they're not that smart, but acting smart.
Yeah, or just like them going like, man, this is a really stupid scenario, right? This makes absolutely no sense. It's almost like we're in a show, and then they all uh fucking jib the camera and like stare straight down your soul. And I'm like, hat, they get it. They're in a show.
Yeah.
Kind of like related to that though. Did y'all watch um Rick and Morty? Rick and Morty?
Yeesh.
I stopped watching it. I liked it for a bit, but then it like got really popular and everybody started being really annoying about it, and so I stopped. Because like I have a few shirts, I have one Pickle Rick shirt, but I have a few Rick and Morty shirts, and just like anytime I wear any of them, it's super annoying.
Yeah, people come
Yeah,
up here
because
like,
they're
oh, I
all like,
love that show.
Yeah, like I wear the Pickle Rick one, and everybody and their fucking moms is like, "Pickle Rick." I'm like, please, please. I didn't
Please,
ask you
dear
to
God,
fucking
no.
comment on my fucking shirt. Which I mean, to be fair, I mean I'm wearing a shirt out in public, so people should be able to say whatever they want. But it's just like, fuck, it's annoying. Sometimes.
Yeah.
yeah. I was never enough of a fan to like buy shit for it.
Well, I
But
didn't. I was gifted
oh,
these
you give
shirts,
it,
so it makes it even more annoying.
help.
Because I'm not the I don't buy like shit like that. Noah, I think
Yeah.
got them for me, which I really, I like them. But it kind of became a double-edged sword as soon as I wore them out in public.
Yeah. But I do enjoy the show. I think it's funny.
Yeah, it definitely has its moments. But it's like, it's one of those shows that I feel like got a reputation for being smart, quote unquote, like making a lot of smart jokes. But as I was
Hmm.
watching it, I was like, nah, it's just kind of doing the same thing all the other like adult animated shows do. Like they just make a bunch of jokes about, murdering people. Like I don't get it.
I feel like at one point it became too easy. Like it became the targeted show to make fun of and like make fun of the viewers of it too.
Hmm.
So it's whenever I started seeing all that, like all Rick and Morty viewers think they're really intelligent, and I was like, I mean, I call myself a retard all the time, so I don't really get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the self-awareness of realizing you're not that smart, but then they're like, "No, this is a smart show for smart people, and I'm smart people."
Exactly.
Yeah. I think what I like even better than Rick and Morty, it's from the same creators. It's Solar Opposites.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, isn't Solar Opposites a spin-off of Rick and Morty?
Not really,
I
or at
mean,
least I didn't find it that way.
I don't know enough to disprove you, but I thought it like not that it was like a remake of the show, but it was they were like, "Hey, we're gonna make another mother show in the Rick and Morty universe."
It might be in the same universe. I didn't. I guess I didn't pay that much attention, but
Shame.
I think it's funny
Game.
because it's not so much just hog wild violence and shit like Rick and Morty was.
Yeah.
See, I like shows like that though. Hog Wild Violence is my favorite.
Well, I mean, in
I was
moderation.
gonna say, yeah, it
Nah,
can be
dude.
done right.
I like just all out violence. It's really cool, especially whenever they do action scenes really well.
Oh yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yes,
And
Dude,
that's why
fights.
we like anime.
Yes,
Anime's
exactly, dude.
anime most of the time. There are definitely some animes their action scenes are garbage. But
Yeah,
Oh,
there
yeah.
is, dude. I
uh,
what is with real quick? I just want to touch on it. What the hell is up with the 3D like animation style? I hate it.
yeah, it doesn't
God,
it
it's
looks
so
weird,
awful.
right?
I understand it's
Yeah.
probably like a cheaper and easier way of doing it, and
I
you can
don't
get more like product out.
I don't know that it is. I think it's a cheaper
I would assume
I don't know, man. I mean it like
it just doesn't look good.
I
God, it looks
guess
so bad.
yeah, because they always just like janky and they never seem to like walk the right way and like
It just seems like there's like a lack of effort there.
yeah, I don't know. It's hard to like compare those like 3D shows to the other shows because I feel like they always have kind of like a different way of going about it, right? Like they don't focus on the animation as hard as some of the other ones do.
Yeah.
Because like there are some animes where they just like bust a fat nut on the animation of fight scenes.
Demon Slayer.
Yeah, like they go hard on those animation scenes and they are beautiful. But then there are those like 3D animation ones where they're just like, yeah, no, these are just some computer models we're gonna move around, and they might
Yeah.
like punch each other or something.
Well, it was
No,
like with Berserk. Berserk was such a good anime, but
It
like
was,
the
yeah.
art style, like, and I'm kind of, I guess maybe I'm different than most people because I can't get past bad art. Like if it's a bad art style, I just can't get past that. It'll fucking
understand
sit
that.
there and irk me the whole fucking time I'm watching the show.
Yeah.
Like I love whenever like the what is it, Studio Ghibli kind of stuff. Like the art
Mhm.
style is like really well done, and they like you can tell they put a lot of effort into it looking good, but it
It's
also having a really
really
good story.
that, and it's
Which I know
very
that's like
particular.
it's kind of an unfair comparison, really, just because those are such noteworthy animes. But I mean, if that's the standard and that's like what like peak is, which I don't think that's peak because I think there's still a lot of progress to be made. But if that's like the golden standard for right now, and you know that your art style or maybe the 3D art just isn't for me, but personally, it just does not hold up at all.
Yeah, it feels like I, it feels less like heartfelt, I guess is the best
That's
way to put it.
authentic.
Yeah, less authentic.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a better way of putting
yeah,
it. Like they,
less genuine kind of.
yeah, because
It seems like they did it for the money.
yeah, like it's just like they could like push out a bunch of episodes and do it relatively cheap because once you get the models into their, their 3D rendering software, then it just they just have to move them about, which I know I'm definitely cutting this
Way
down a lot more than it should.
oversimplifying
Yeah,
it.
way oversimple. It's probably way harder, something I could never do. But
Same.
it just feels off. It doesn't
Yeah,
feel good.
because like standard anime is hand drawn scenes, and so it's got that authenticity because the movements aren't exactly perfect. The
No.
way the mouth moves isn't exactly perfect, but it's the creators go with a theme and design to that, so it has its own character to it.
Yeah.
Whereas 3D is like, oh well, here's this model that they put into this standardized program that looks the same, like animation wise, as these 14 other animes.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's also less like unique.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because in standard like drawn animes, it's there's that hand done touch to it. So
Right.
none of
So
them are going to be exactly the same.
well, also it's just that unique. Like every artist has their own unique style. Whenever you start doing the 3D style, it's like it's really. I feel like it may be really hard to be unique in that space. One show that I actually did just recently start watching that I highly recommend is on Netflix is Arcane. It's like the
Oh,
League of Legends show.
yeah.
Dude, that show is so fucking
It's
good.
it's
Oh
so
my
good.
god.
And
Dude, the art style, the fucking story, I mean, it is just a gem.
right, and I'm a sucker for shows that take like the idea from a video game and turn them into something. So like Castlevania, the
Yeah, dude,
Dota
that
show
anime is so good. Castlevania is one of
is
my is
really
like
good.
goated.
Did
Dude,
y'all watch the Dota show? They just released the second season not that long ago.
no, I'm still
No,
It's
on
I
like
haven't
Arcane
watched
right
it.
now.
it's like Dota Dragon's Blood or something like that. I'm just a big sucker for anything that like takes the lore of a video game and turns it into like a, cinematic masterpiece that I can just watch for days.
Same. I
I'm
agree. I
still
like that
trying to
too.
finish Attack on Titan, so
That's one reason like I'm not getting into like these big name animes is because god, they're just fucking long.
Attack on
There's
Titan's only
shitloads of
4
fucking
seasons.
that's 4 seasons though. I mean, I know like a lot
It's
of
not
people
that
are
bad.
like love the fact that it's 4 seasons now, and I do too. But at the same time, I'm just like, God, it's a lot.
But it's not fairy tale with
Oh
672
God.
episodes or
Don't
whatever.
even bring up fucking
Oh God,
One
fairy
Piece.
tale.
One Piece is
Dude,
That's
what
why
ridiculous.
I didn't
is
bring it up.
what is
One
One
Piece
Piece
is
at?
like
Like
it's like at
1600 or something?
1,000. Yeah, some crazy ass number.
That's just how do you like
How do you watch that?
yeah, but how do you keep coming up with new stuff for that?
You don't?
No, yeah, you
That's
don't.
why 90% of that show is filler.
Yeah. Well, I think I was telling one of y'all about this, or it may have been on one of the podcasts, about Fairy Tale. Is episode 9 is a
I
filler
think we
episode.
did talk about
Yeah.
it on the
Which is,
podcast.
it's just insane to me. You're only 9 episodes in, and you're already putting filler? Like,
I mean, wasn't Naruto like mostly filler?
yeah.
Like I went back and watched Naruto, like the original shit, and it is just 99% filler.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
bad. Like, if you
It's
have
like,
to
come on.
have, if you have to have a whole website dedicated to what episodes to skip because they're not
Yeah.
important, then maybe you should like take a break or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Or just
Some people like
stop.
filler though. I don't, but
I
some people
don't.
do like filler.
I really don't. Well,
I don't
so I've been playing. There've been a lot of really good video games coming out this month. I don't know
Dude,
if
no
y'all have
lie.
noticed.
Oh god, I wish I had more
They're so
time to
good,
play.
and I bought all of them, and I don't have enough time to play all of them.
That's why I'm not buying any of them either. Also, I want to wait for reviews to come out. I know Elden Ring is good. I've
Dude,
already seen reviews of
all right,
that. And Elden Ring's
I've
good.
played 10 hours or so of Elden Ring. It's phenomenal. If you like
Yeah.
Dark Souls games. It's
Oh, I love them
basically
too, dude. Oof.
it's basically just a Dark Souls game, but
It's open world now.
yeah,
It's
that's
so sick.
like just saying it's open world, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, you walk around more, but I feel like it adds a whole other layer because I found myself actually stealthing through things in Dark Souls, which is weird, right? Like most of the time you just kind of run in and hope for the best. But you are met with this fort kind of pretty early in the game that has a bunch of guys in it, like 15, 20 guys within like basically if you aggro any of them, you're going to pull them all down on top of you and there's no way to kill them all once you've aggroed all of them. So
Right.
in a Dark Souls game, I'm sneaking through bushes and backstabbing people, trying to whittle them down until I get enough that I can manage, which is just a weird thing for Dark Souls, but I love it.
Same. I really like the direction they went with this one.
It's really good.
Seems,
But
seems like innovative for a Dark Souls game, you know?
yeah, and on top of that, it looks phenomenal. It plays really well. The bosses are all really interesting. Like I've been having a great time with it. What was I saying?
So you're saying they can release a game that actually works?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they can. Except
That's
that
That's what I'm
there,
saying, dude. Day
surprising.
one launch, it needs to be good, dude.
except
This
that
is
there have
what.
been reports that it has really bad FPS drops on PC.
Oh, dude, I've heard it's unplayable on PC, actually.
Yeah,
Damn.
but you
Well,
know,
it's
still
always
great.
that way. It's either really good on PC and shite on everything else, or really good on everything else and shite
Yeah.
on PC.
It's
Well,
because the way they have to make games, you have to make them for one or the other and then port them. Essentially,
Yeah.
because of the hardware differences, I assume.
yeah. Well, and so that's kind of the other thing is that it's bad on PC unless you have a pretty top range computer, and then it works fine. Like the same thing with Cyberpunk, right? Like everyone was super pissed about Cyberpunk's release because it played like trash on all the consoles. But if you had a medium to high end PC, it ran like butter. But
Yeah.
so then you're alienating half your customers, so it's still a bad game.
Well, I would say over half,
Yeah.
because the majority of people are playing on either on PS4 or Xbox. I say PS4, PS5 or Xbox.
Dude, nah, it's still. I think PS4 still is.
Oh, well, yeah, because you can't
Majority.
fucking get a PS5.
Yeah, they're extremely hard to get, and when you can get them, they're like 3 times market price.
Yeah,
Yeah, which is
Something
fucking
insane.
insane.
fucking scalpers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess it definitely once I built my own PC, like that was it's fairly high end. I have just completely forgot about consoles.
Same,
Like,
absolutely same.
Like I
Honestly.
don't buy console except I did buy Elden Ring on PlayStation Not because I thought it would run better, but because I just wanted a reason to get out of my bedroom.
Oh, there you go.
Well, if you don't get like a hard on for performance like I do, then
Mhm.
consoles are fine. But
Yeah.
like once you play on a really well built PC, it doesn't even have to be like the top of the line. Like $1,000 PC will last you 3 to 4 years, and then you build another one. You can even use the same case, possibly the same board, just upgrade the graphics card and the processor and RAM and shit, and just off you go for
And
like
just
six
call it
hundred
good.
bucks. And
And
dude, the performance is so much better than console. Like, oh
mhm.
my god. And also just being able to use mouse and keyboard on like 80% of games it's better. But like that's kind of arguable depending on the game too, of course.
Yeah, well, because that's like I think that PCs, yeah, are really great, and just the fact that you can like upgrade pieces as you need them makes it so much better. Like you'll definitely end up spending a lot more than consoles. So if you're like a casual gamer, consoles all the way. Like
Yeah.
Oh
consoles,
yeah.
you can guarantee pretty much that any game you plug into your console will run. Like
Yeah.
you buy it on for your Xbox One, you put it in your Xbox One, it'll work. But
But if you build a good enough PC, I mean, you
well,
really don't have
yeah,
to worry
but
either.
for the price you spend on consoles, trying to build a PC for that amount that has the
It's
same
impossible now.
performance output, yeah, it's
Oh yeah.
impossible.
I will
With
say
with,
So,
though,
with
people
this next
people will
gen that
say
came
that.
out.
Well, people will say that like consoles are so much cheaper than PCs, which they are. But once you build a good PC, you have so many more games to choose from,
yeah,
and that are free. Like your free video game options are so huge with a PC.
yeah. Well, that's like
So
I have I think now close to 100 games on the Epic Game Store launcher on PC. I've paid for maybe two of them, and I've
yeah, dude.
played maybe five of them.
Like I have
Yeah.
152 games on my Steam library, and I mean that's
That's
way
it.
more console games than I've ever
I was
had.
gonna say I
I have
definitely have like 200 something.
I'm close. I'm about to hit 400 games in my Steam library.
See, but I don't buy a lot of games because I'll play a game until I've like played every single bit of
Yeah,
that game.
I'm really
So
bad
I'm like
about
a go ahead.
buying new games while
Yeah,
I'm
Ah,
same.
nah,
not
dude. I'm a
done with
big
an
like
old game.
I love 100%ing games too. Like 100%ing is such a gratifying feeling.
Yeah,
So a lot of it just
just
comes down to that.
right, just the fact of those Steam achievements, baby. All right, I live for them Steam achievements, even though they mean absolutely nothing. Like I'll every time before I launch a game, I'll kind of it shows your Steam achievements on that bottom right side, and you can like pan over them and see what they need for you to accomplish them. And it'll be
Hmm.
things that I've never thought about doing in the game itself, and I'll just be like, all right, well now I got to go do that.
But in doing that, I mean, you do learn a lot more about the game
Yeah,
and discover a lot more.
like you
Like
figure
that's
like
why I
new
like
play
hundred
ways.
percenting because like a lot of times you'll find shit that you never thought would have been in the game, and it's just like, oh, that's really fucking cool.
Yeah. Well, like so another game that came out this month that I've been playing, Dying Light 2. Which did either of y'all play the first one or the second one?
No.
Like so.
So the first one, I loved the first one. So it's a zombie apocalypse game, and you're like, oh man, there's millions of those, but it focuses more on parkour and like agility rather than actually fighting the zombies. So like there's a bunch of skills of like jumping off zombies' heads and climbing up walls, and if you run on walls, the zombies probably won't notice you at all, so you don't need to fight them. Um and then but you do still get, all your bladed weapons to chop their heads off and set them on fire, so it's a little bit of both. But the first game was so good, and the second game is just full of filler, to bring it back to the anime talk. It's
Oh shit.
there's so many times in the second game where someone will start talking and I'll just get my phone out and start
Aw.
scrolling through Reddit because they're going to be talking for 10 minutes about a bandit camp near the settlement that I don't care about. And I'm just
You hate
like,
to
all
see
right.
that too.
But the parkour in the second one is really fun. Like I enjoy just running around the city more than actually doing the story.
Yeah.
You see, and then it comes down to like what's the point of the story then,
Yeah, and that's
For
like
sure.
I feel like a lot of these open world games almost don't need a story.
Sometimes, yeah, I feel like that's a large case. I mean, look at Minecraft, dude. Minecraft is probably one of the best examples of not needing a story.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I mean, it's done really, really, really well. It's throughout its entirety, even through like some of its small slip ups and stuff, just from having good gameplay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
still one of
'cause
the most popular games of all time or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it may die down for a little bit, but out of nowhere, it's just back to fucking 100%. You're like, what?
They'll release some new content that's arbitrary and fucking pointless, and people get back into it, and they're like, "Oh man, Minecraft is just always so good," which it is.
It's a very
Yeah.
good game. Because just being like, especially like those sandbox games like Minecraft, just being left to your own devices to be like, all right, just do whatever the heck you want, is fun.
Well,
And
especially in Minecraft, where you can do literally anything you want.
yeah,
hmm
like if you want to just build a giant house, go for it. You want to become the bane of all mobs, go for it. Like you can do whatever
Yeah.
you want. But
I think
then,
I stopped. I lost interest in Minecraft right whenever they came out with like the End and like the Ender Dragon,
oh yeah,
because I think I started playing Terraria at that point too, and Terraria, in my opinion, is just a better game.
yeah,
But then also back to the argument about PCs and rolling Minecraft into that, you can make Minecraft a completely different game.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that's one thing with modding. Like the modding community can straight up make games completely different.
Yeah.
because me and
Because I
Brandon,
know, yeah,
you want to say it
freaking
because I know
Sky
what you're going.
Factory.
Yeah.
We spent, I mean, I haven't played vanilla Minecraft in probably 5 years,
Yeah.
but me and Jeremy probably spent a couple 100 hours playing Sky Factory, which is just a big mod pack with like 50 mods in it.
Yeah.
To make the game something different, to
Right.
give the
Because
game more engineering, give it just
Or like
different
progression.
stuff.
Because
Yeah,
you
Sky
start
Factory
on
was
a
really good, too.
floating tree, and that's all you have is a single tree. And you cut it down, and then eventually you get to the point where you have nuclear reactors and jetpacks and
jetpacks,
chickens
mob
that shit out
farms, and
lava, and it's great.
yeah,
It's just like the being able to have that modding community to change it up. I feel like keeps those open world games fresh, whereas like in the big like story open world games like Dying Light, you can't really make that a whole new game. Like it's hard to take this story based open world and make it something different.
yeah,
Well, a lot of the problem is like because with those kind of games, a lot of people in the modding community will really only make things like dumb,
well,
Yeah,
and I mean,
mods to make it kind of funny.
yeah. I
and
mean,
mods for
there's
games like that are usually like, oh, here's the cool new weapon you can use, or here's a cool outfit you can use, or just stuff like that. But it's never really like mechanic changing mods
Right.
like Minecraft mods are.
yeah. Well, because there's another mod pack for Minecraft. What's it called? Like say it's like desert something. I don't know, but you like
RL Craft,
maybe the
and
one I'm
that
thinking
one
of.
it stands for real life craft,
Mm-hmm.
and so it makes it just almost impossible to play,
Yeah.
but it's really fucking fun because of the challenge.
Yeah. There's something about having it difficult that you're like, all right, I'm into this. Like it's hard. I'll be hiding in a hole for the majority of this game, but it's fun because I
Yeah,
love it.
Well, it's like
because you have the
Skyrim and
suspense of
shit.
being in
Like
danger and stuff like that.
there's a ton of mods for Skyrim and
Mhm.
Fallout to make it harder. But like whenever Skyrim came out, it had like it didn't come out with any kind of survival mode, and then it finally
Yeah.
did. But by the time it did, people had already modded it to have
Have
that,
it.
but it was
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Like the
Then
modding
whatever
community did a
Bethesda could.
way better job because you could have like, especially with the crafting modding community in Skyrim is goated.
It's really
Because
good.
like you could craft bags and like little bandoliers and shit and some of the
Hmm.
mods. It was so cool, and that's what like once they brought the modding to like the Skyrim, like it was stock. You could just mod it on anything, but it didn't on console to pay for them or something.
Eventually they started, what's it called? Like Bethesda, like
Oh
what's it called?
shit! I know
It
what
was
you're
in
talking
Fallout
about.
4.
Yeah.
Like that's where it started. Of them, like you had to pay for all the mods, and that, that's not a great thing. But it I heard it spun one way where the reason they did that, and I don't know if this is true or not, is that Sony wouldn't let mods on their platform because of some legal thing about if nobody's paying for it, you're just stealing content. So then Bethesda was like, "All right, well, what if we just make them pay like $1 for the mod pack, and then now it's legal and they can have mods as well on PlayStation."
So, sounds about
But
right.
but even then, like I played Fallout 4 a lot on Xbox, but it was like whatever Bethesda's thing was called only ever had dumb mods.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
what I
Like
was gonna say. Is it always had like the most worthless mods
it
on
was
it?
like, here, spend $5 on this new uh power armor skin.
Yeah,
Like, what?
Yeah.
No,
like
I'm not gonna spend $5 on that. I'll go download this one from the workshop for free. Because they still on Xbox at least, they still had a bunch of free mods. It wasn't nearly what the PC had, but they still had a bunch of free mods on PC or on Xbox. And so you didn't have to use Bethesda's buy thingy because they were always just dumb mods. Like it was like, oh, here's this new weapon, or here's this new armor skin. Not even a new set of armor, a new armor skin. And so, but you could go on there and they still had a free workshop edition. And so you could go on there and find something similar, but for free.
Yeah. And that's like mods are just such an important thing to computer, or just computer, any kind of video game, honestly. If you can get mods set up, you're set. Like you're golden.
Oh, yeah.
That's
I
why I
mean, people are
think,
still playing Skyrim, and I
yeah.
believe a lot of that's due to the mod community.
Oh, absolutely. Like if you
I mean, it
really
would be a dead
look,
game without the mods.
like Skyrim when it came out, I think was really good at the time it came out, but
It was
now
great.
I mean, if it's just the base game looking at it now, you're like, man, there's so many better options, right?
Uh,
But the modding community has just kept that game alive to no end. Like it
Yeah.
will completely reinvent the game.
oh yeah, dude. Like I remember whenever I was still playing Skyrim, and I went and modded it to where it was like a full survival game almost,
Yeah.
and it was awesome. I loved it. It actually revitalized the game for me. Because I hit a point where I was just replaying the game and like just making different like characters and classes and shit. But then once you start modding it, I mean, you can do the different start mod and all these other different cool mods
Yeah,
that
they just completely change it up.
yeah, it makes it way more roleplay too.
Right? Like there's mods that will turn it into a Dark Souls-esque game
Mm-hmm.
where you have to parry and dodge and do all this shit, whereas the combat in vanilla Skyrim is pretty vanilla. Like
Yeah, yeah,
Swing,
it's very
swing, swing,
swing,
swing.
block,
yeah,
swing.
it's
Well,
pretty
I don't
much.
even ever.
Yeah, I was gonna say I never blocked that. It's just
That's
swing.
a,
Yeah,
that's why I said swing, 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 because I knew nobody ever fucking blocks in vanilla Skyrim.
Yeah,
no,
there's
dude.
no reason to. It's not
Yeah.
about. It's basically just you have to do enough damage quickly enough to them before they do enough damage quickly to you.
Yep.
Yes. Which is like I also dual wielding in Skyrim, probably my least favorite
Oh,
aspect.
really? I was gonna say
Yes,
I
I thought it was
always dual
dumb.
wielded. What do you mean?
Thought it was the way they did dual wielding was dumb. I was like, okay, this is just like I like the way Dark Souls 2 did dual wielding. I fucking loved. because you had to have double the stat for that weapon to be able to dual wield it properly. And whenever you dual wielded something properly, you had like a whole different stance and like it did way more damage. It was really cool because you could like dual wield ultra great swords and shit. Like you go hard.
Yeah.
But in Skyrim, and it's just kind of like, oh, well, you can swing two swords or two
Right.
whatever. I mean,
From the very beginning of the game, it's like, yeah, you can have 2 swords in each hand. Let's go.
yep, have fun. Like, oh, okay, I don't have to do anything. This isn't like, and it was also just like, oh, the way you'd swing them. It's like, okay, I'm just swinging two swords or axes or whatever instead of one.
I swing.
Mhm. That's why I usually went with just a range build because I mean, it's so much easier to go through the game like that.
Yeah, it really is. But then it
Just
almost gets
snipe
kind of
everybody.
boring.
It does after you do it enough times. The first time through doing like a ranged build, you feel like a god though.
Oh yeah. Like just sneaking around shooting everybody. It's a great
Yeah.
time. Well, so that's like this is one of the reasons that I would say that Skyrim is one of the greatest games ever made, even though it's not. Like if you take it at its base, it's really not that great. But the fact that it's almost like a launching point for all this other content is what makes it so good.
True. It gives a lot of, it's like a whole space for content creators for sure. So like if you're
It's a
wanting to
platform for more.
Yeah, if you're wanting to become a future developer or something, I mean start with modding Skyrim, dude.
Yeah, it's super easy. It's really not that bad, no.
I mean, you could learn a whole shitload from it.
Yeah. Well, have y'all ever played any of the Mount and Blade games?
I wanted to. Like I wanted to play the ones that were like PvP so I could fight people.
Yeah, so I think
Because I played Mordhau and it was really fun, but
well, so it's
Yes.
yeah, those are pretty good. But I feel like Mount and Blade is a little bit different only because it's one of those games that I always wished I had when I was a little kid of you are a dude and you start out with nothing and then you get to the point where it's you in decked out armor with an army of like 200 dudes behind you that you can control to fight. But then the game itself gets pretty repetitive, honestly. Like you recruit all your dudes, you go into battle, you're clearing out bandit camps, you're taking over towns, whatever. But then the modding community got a hold of it and it got to the point that they made I forget what it's called, but it's a Star Wars remake of the game. So the entire
what?
game, yeah, like it's an entirely different game. Like the overworld map is a galaxy with planets, and you're on a little ship, and you're flying around, and you have lightsabers, and there are force powers, and you can recruit droids and stormtroopers, and you're all shooting lasers at each other. It's phenomenal.
That's
See, this is
cool.
another great point to PC gaming is more expensive to get into, but once you're into it, you can do a lot for free. Like
Oh, yeah.
a shitload for free. I mean, you can basically buy a game, play it all the way through, mod it to hell and back for free, and then play it in it's like a whole new game.
Just the initial down payment's pretty rough, but then like I've built my PC and I've been using it for the past 3 years and it
Built
runs
mine,
everything flawlessly.
I built mine and it's been running for what, 6 years now?
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Well,
still I
even-
mean it's not the best, but it's still I can still play pretty much anything I want to with no problem.
Yeah.
And do I want to build a new one? Yes. Can I get a new graphics card? Fuck you, scalpers. Pieces of fucking
Yeah,
shit.
Scalpers are the worst.
Well, even that pre-built desktop that I bought from you,
Yeah.
I sold that to my roommate, and he's using
Yeah.
it now to play games. Like it still
And that-
works, and it's
that
like
computer's like 8 years old.
yeah, it's old as hell. So it just feel like it's a much better ecosystem to get into than the consoles, where like I haven't used or seen an Xbox 360 in like I don't know 15 years. It's probably not that long, but a long time.
Long time.
Well, like you said, you sold your PC, the old one that Brandon gave you to your roommate, and I gave my old PC to my buddy Sam, and so they're still getting use out of them.
Yeah.
So I
And
think
this is not like, by no means is that computer that I gave to Jeremy, by no means was it a high-end computer. It was actually on the lower end, but it's still useful. Like you can
I mean, yeah,
still
you can still
play.
play older games or like free
Yeah.
games, stuff like that. I mean, there's still plenty of games you can play with an old,
Well, I
outdated
mean,
rig.
Oh, yeah.
even some of the newer games, you just crank the settings down. Something you can't do on console.
Yeah,
Like I can go in there and tweak a game to its absolute bare bones and run it perfectly fine on my old hardware.
I do
Or
think. Go ahead.
I can go back to those older games and just either mod the shit out of them and give them new fucking high res texture packs and shit like this and run it perfectly fine because it runs on a less demanding hardware.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I can
Like,
make it look better than it ever did.
I think there's still a place for consoles for sure.
Oh,
Oh,
absolutely.
absolutely.
I think what I'm mainly saying is like, if you are thinking of switching to PC, beware because you may get spoiled and may not be able to go back.
Yeah. I mean, because that
so-
happened with all of us, like we were saying. Is once I
Yep.
had a semi-good PC, that's all I ever do. That's all I ever touch anymore. Like my Xbox
dude.
is just a Netflix machine at this point.
And that's
Console,
what mine
I'm
was
hit the
for a
same.
while. But then I got a smart TV and it just sat on the shelf below the TV. And then when I moved, it got put up in its box. I don't even know where it's at right now. There's a missing Xbox One somewhere in my house.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, mine just sit behind my TV. Like, cause I
Yeah.
have the smart TV in my living room and in my bedroom,
Yeah.
so it's like I don't ever use them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I think I
I
ahead.
wish that I could get a PS5 because I do like console games because I feel like there's a whole different like environment around console games. So
It's way more casual for
it's
sure.
way more casual, but it's also it feels way more um like community based, I guess is the best way to put it. Like so we have a bunch of consoles set up in our living room and so there will be times where I'm just sitting in the living room playing, like I was playing Elden Ring in there earlier today or I was playing Beats and Shapes and Beats, Beats and Shapes, one of those on the Switch in my living room, and it. I mean, I guess it's probably just due to the fact that I'm in my living room and not in my room, but it just it sets up this environment of my roommates just kind of sitting down on the couch and we're just shooting the shit while playing some stupid video games that aren't that important.
Yeah, and
For
I mean,
sure.
part of that is always most people plug their gaming console into the TV into the living room or in the TV in the bedroom. Whereas PCs, usually people pick up a monitor because you can get monitors with better specs, with lower latency, stuff like that, more frame rate, versus a TV that's 60 frames per second. Yeah, that's all an Xbox can run, so why do I need more?
Yep.
And so they'll play it on a bigger TV, but so it does invite that. Well, if somebody's passing through, they can just sit there and watch what I'm playing and BS with me
Yeah.
versus sitting at your computer where you're only a couple feet away from your monitor with your back face to the world buried into your game.
Yeah, because I get that a lot where I'll just come into my bedroom, I'll sit down, I'll shut the door, and I'll just play, Dying Light 2 for 15 hours and not interact with any of my roommates or anybody at all. Whereas I feel like I wish that couch co-op was more prevalent than it is.
100%.
Yeah, same. The days of couch co-op kind of died.
Yeah.
They really have.
It's sad because there's so many good couch co-op games, but I just feel like most people just don't want to do that, you know? They're like, yeah, no, let's just play over Discord. Do that, that'll be fine. But there's a whole different dynamic to be sitting next to each other, playing Overcooked, screaming that you need lettuce, and punching rats or something. I don't know.
Playing
Yeah.
Overcooked sometimes though with certain people will drive you insane.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
Because there are some
Well, I
people who
mean,
just aren't very good at like multitasking like that, which is fine.
yeah,
But that's like what that game relies on,
yeah.
or just being able to like follow an order. And dude, some people just cannot do it, and oh my god, it wears me out. Like, you have one job, just do the one job. Don't worry about
yeah.
anything else. And then you'll like catch them doing your job, and you're like,
Like, what the
oh my
heck?
god, I'm gonna
I
freak the
told you
fuck
this
out.
one job.
Well,
Get out of here, because they'll fuck up your shit.
it's like when me and Jeremy used to live together. We would get off on a Friday night, start drinking, and play Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time in
Such a
the
good
fucking
game.
living room because it's a couch co-op game that you can just hop into and do what the fuck ever. But
Mhm.
we're just sitting there yelling at each other about get to the other gun, get to the other gun, turn, versus and like you can turn and Jeremy would do something stupid, so I'd punch him in the shoulder. I can't do that over Discord.
Yeah.
I couldn't fucking punch one of y'all in the shoulder if y'all did something dumb right now. So couch co-op is something that I wish was bigger and more games had.
Sure,
Yeah.
I agree.
But
Well, and
that's
it's
also growing
also
up
in the
couch
time of couch
co-oping
co-op.
Halo 3 and
Yeah,
all that sort of stuff.
it's good times.
Yeah, dude, playing on fucking legendary,
Oh yeah,
heroic.
Well, but
legendary.
I've also, um, so like not recently, but within the past year or two, every time I go to like a family meeting or if I'm just meeting up with my sisters or my parents or whatever, I'll bring my Switch and I'll set it up and we'll play, Mario Party or Overcooked or any of the stuff. And none of my family is good at it. They're
Oh
all
my god,
very
yeah.
bad. They're all very bad. But it's a scenario that I um like I don't care that they're good at it, right? Like we're not playing to be good at this video game.
You're
We're just
playing it to
playing,
have fun.
yeah, to have fun, spend time together. And so now, like, one of my sisters bought a Switch and bought some of the games that we would play together, and then I got her into like Zelda and some of
Fuck
these
yeah.
other games, and I'm like, yes, come to the dark side. But
Become tainted.
yes, enjoy my video game addiction, please. But just something about the whole uh just couch co-op, and I feel like couch co-op just brings people together. It's just a great time.
Facts. I agree. Yeah, for sure. Sadly, most of my family doesn't play video games at all and doesn't like them.
Yeah, none of
I
mine
think your
did.
brother's the only one, right?
Yeah, I think my brother's really the only one. My mom likes video games. I got her to play what is it? Again, that Firewatch.
Oh
Oh,
hell yeah!
Firewatch is good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Got my mom to play Firewatch, and she played through it like multiple times.
that's one of those
So
games
I
that's
was like,
just fun to walk around in. Enjoy
oh
life.
yeah, it was like a proud moment too, because she was like, I want a video game where you don't have to fight, because she hates fighting, because it just stresses her out.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, perfect, this one. Because she used to play Fable a lot, and like we had an Agatha Christie game for the Switch, and shit, she would play all the time. But she hated fighting in Fable, so I was like, okay, well,
Fighting in Fable isn't even that bad.
no, dude, she like get like cramps in her hand because she had button mashed so hard.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, she like slammed the buttons with her thumbs. I would watch her play, and I'm like, you don't have to hit them that hard. She's like, I don't think about it.
Right, it just kind of happens.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not doing it on purpose. That's why she doesn't like the fighting, though. It just stresses her out. I'm like, huh. Yeah. Everybody has their own thing
Yeah.
they like.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
can get that.
I feel like video games are a great way to bring people together. But another thing that I love, but nobody ever wants to do with me, is mutual masturbation. I mean, board games.
Board games are hard though because
Love board games, man.
like
I love board games too.
Brandon, play
I
board
like
games with
them,
me.
but board
Okay.
games just get like boring after a bit.
You're playing the wrong board games, my friend.
I feel like there's more bad board games than there are good board games though.
You could say that about anything. I would say there's more bad computer games than there are good ones.
Well, for
Have
sure,
you
but
scrolled through
like
the free Steam games lately? They're
I
bad.
guess it's
Just
my
all
own
hentai
fault
games.
for like not looking up reviews of board games, but I'm not really into board games as much because it's hard to find people that are.
Yeah, that's fair. So, but a quick question: Would you think of board games? What kind of board games are you thinking of?
I mean, anything from
Monopoly.
Monopoly to Warhammer.
Okay, yeah. So you have a pretty wide range, but I feel like a lot of people when I say board games, they're like, yeah, Monopoly, Sorry, like all these like generic household games that they're fun, but they get pretty boring after a while, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like the board games I like are like the Dark Souls board game or the House on the Haunted Hill or the Mall Shoppers board game. Like these games that take one game takes you like 5 hours. But
Aw, damn.
they're very involved, but I like, I guess all these games are cooperative board games, right? Where all the players are working together towards a common goal, whereas like Monopoly is everyone versus each other.
Right. It's just mainly like that seems to be a common thing with board games too, is like everyone against each other.
Yeah, just living out, but those are lame.
But so it's one of those things like Jeremy, you want to play board games that are like Dungeons and Dragons.
Pretty much, yeah.
Everybody working towards something against the game
Yeah.
versus everybody working against each other.
Oh yeah. Because it kind of fits in with how I feel about video games. Is I would much rather play a cooperative, or I would play a support character in like cooperative games than like a damage dealer, because I just want to help everyone else like accomplish their goals.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And
I kind
but
of feel that. I usually try to do that too.
That's why I always like playing co-op games with Jeremy.
yeah, because I'll always take the medic.
Because he's always the healer. And it's great.
That's Noah, dude. Noah usually likes playing the healer too.
Yeah, I just like being. I like being. I feel like I'm not good at most competitive games, but playing a support character like a healer character takes a whole different skill set than just being good at the game that I feel like I can do, and so then I can still contribute to the rest of the team.
Oh yeah, makes sense.
Speaking about being good at video games, Nick brought up Mordhau earlier, and that's one of those games that I'm inexplicably good at. Like I
Brandon
had
used
no
to kick my
reason to
ass.
be that good,
Yeah, it just kind of
but I
happens.
was.
Brandon's good at the weirdest video games too.
Yes.
Mordhau is one of those games that I really wanted to like, but I was just like, nah. It's too much of the same. Like too much of just slashing at each other and no
See,
other
but
kind of gameplay.
I kind of like that though because you keep it simple, like you get really competitive, like CS:GO was.
Yeah.
I mean, you can if the more simple a game is, the more competitive it can be in a sense. I mean, you do have games like Dota League and shit, but those games are just like too much brain power.
Yeah.
And I got pretty sweaty over Mordhau there for a little while.
I mean, you can be really smart in simple games too. You know, over like the thing where you wouldn't swing, but you would like look directly up and like limbo people's swings and shit.
Yeah.
I was never very good at that.
Yeah, like teasing them into the wrong moves, getting really meta about it.
Dude,
Oh,
the
yeah.
1v1 servers got sweaty. Oh my god, they were
Oh,
sweaty.
they were so sweaty.
I
But I
always
just
just
remember
enjoyed
going in
going
there.
in
fucking murking.
Yeah, I just remember going into those 1v1 rooms and just watching people fight, like not actually fighting anybody, but
Oh
just
my
watching
god,
other
dude,
people
yeah.
fight.
It's like, oh.
Usually just watching me fight other people.
Yeah, pretty much. And then I wait for whoever loses, hoping it's the enemy, so then I can go right in and they're already hurt and stuff, and
Steal
then I
the
get the
kill.
win, yeah.
Too
I'm a
easy,
very,
dude.
very shady cooperative gameplay person.
Opportunistic cooperative
Yeah, that's
gamer.
it. That's it.
That was like
Goddamn.
me on this last D&D shit since you weren't there, Brandon.
Oh
We
yeah.
went to this like whole little area and these things were like popping out of the ground and fighting us. And I killed like 4 or 5 things just by hitting them once because everybody else did so much damage to them.
Yeah, you'd come in and
I
get
would hit
Goddamn
it
it.
the
once
final
and do
kill.
like 12 or 11 damage and it would kill them. But my timing was so on point. Like everybody would be like, because they would do this thing where they would fucking like use their eyes and make everybody run away from them.
Yeah.
And so like fucking everybody who was fighting would be running away from it. I'd shoot it and kill it. They'd stop running away and be able to fight again.
Damn it.
Well, and that's why, to bring it back to board games, that's why I like Dungeons and Dragons and all these other board games, is because it's not. I mean, sometimes it does turn into, I want to be the best player at this, but a lot of times it's just everybody having a good time, helping each other to succeed, playing the game as fun as possible.
I mean, we got a pretty good loot from that too.
Yeah, you got a
So that'll be
lightsaber.
nice. Basically.
Which
Nice.
already gave to Brandon.
Yes.
I know. You're welcome, you fuck.
Thank you.
Wasn't even
Wasn't
there,
even
and got
there,
good
but we
stuff.
got you some fucking loot.
But that's
And see
so
lightsaber.
nice, alright? Just everyone be like, well, we can't use this, so we'll give it to Brandon, because he's the paladin.
I mean, there were
two-handed
plenty,
weapons.
totally plenty of us that could use it, but it made the most sense to go to Brandon.
Yeah, fair enough.
Also, having like, I feel like having one character that's really overpowered is kind of a like big brain play.
So you're gonna have the. I'm gonna be that guy that runs in and just does 300 damage in a turn, and then everybody's gonna be like,
that overpowered, but it's one of those things that'll make you stronger.
and then everybody's gonna plink like 40 damage.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to make everybody weak as fuck, but having one character that's like pretty damn strong is really nice to have around.
Yeah, just someone that can tank everything.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody to be the
Shit hitting the
finisher.
fan.
And I just really love the like the environment around Dungeons and Dragons, of where like you will be building one character up to be the tank, or one character up to be your DPS, or one character to build or to do all the healing and stuff. And so then as the DM, when you focus on one of them, everyone starts getting panicked because they're like, "Oh shit, we're about to lose our tank," or "Oh shit, we're losing our healer." Like it's just it's a fun environment to pinpoint out someone of a group and try to take them down while everyone else is freaking out about it.
Which Zinzin so far has been the main guy to get pinpointed.
Yeah, well, it's not even that. It's just he has such little health. It is always the first one to run into combat.
Dude, he does so much goddamn damage.
He does, but he's just always the first one up there, and it's just bad.
Just a glass cannon, though.
Pretty much, he just runs up because if anybody knows anything about monks in D&D, they love punching. All right, that's all they do is punch about, and that's all he does is run right up in their faces, punch them a couple of times, and then immediately get downed.
Basically. The barbarians have been fucking strong, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it takes forever to kill them.
Honestly, god
until
damn.
you fight a fucking wizard.
And then it's dead.
Yeah.
Because just
everybody's gonna have their weaknesses.
Yeah, just I like the I feel again going back to I always play the support classes in most video games. Is I just like the sense of cooperation in Dungeons and Dragons, and I wish it was
Yeah.
easier to convince other people to play with me. Like if I could get my family to play Dungeons and Dragons with me one Christmas, that'd be my dream. All right.
Fucking absolutely would.
I would love that. I'd be like, all right, everybody, here's your character sheets. Let's go.
About to get sweaty.
Everyone's gonna die. All right, everyone, roll me perception checks.
Jeremy, I figured this may be super exciting for you. I've been thinking about writing a superhero one shot for the guys.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you want to DM this
Well,
tonight?
yeah. No, not tonight.
Aw.
I haven't even started writing it. I want to start writing it.
It is.
I'm just gonna.
It's very weird, but what's the word? It's very weird, but dude, what am I thinking of? Rewarding. Very rewarding to create like whole storylines in Dungeons and Dragons. Like just
Yeah.
something about like, all right, this is the generic idea of what I want, and then start fleshing it out of all right, here's the city, here's the maps, here's the enemies they're fighting, here's the like hidden loot, here's all this stuff. It's like going through and setting all this stuff up is a very pleasant feeling.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of damn work to me.
Oh, it is. It's a lot of work.
Sure
So
is.
most of me, I'm just like, ugh.
So
I'll
I just
I'll
want
let
to.
you guys.
I want to design like a. I don't know, maybe like a level 15,
Yeah,
just self-contained one shot where you just kind of get dropped into the action and you have to make some rash decisions, stuff like that.
yeah, make it something that they can't just play their normal characters in.
Yeah, no, it would be one of those where I build the character sheets and just hand them out to y'all. Where like like we wouldn't have to spend 2 hours building level 15 characters. They'd already be
Yeah.
built. Y'all can choose between them, however many I design or whatever, and then we all just jump in and get straight to it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I really enjoy like making and building stuff for Dungeons and Dragons,
Mhm.
but I also just I mean it's mostly just my own personality about it, but I get very self-conscious about it. Like if I build something and I like reveal it, like when in our last game, we you guys went to a town that was being overtaken by some mysterious creatures. And y'all were like, oh, we gotta, I was leading you all these tips, and you're like, we gotta get light sources because we've heard they're jumping out of shadows and all this stuff. And then it got to the end of it, and y'all were like evacuating all these people out of this castle that they'd hold up in. And it got to the point where the enemy had burrowed down under the castle and up into it to get to the survivors because they knew that's where they were. And I don't remember who it was, but someone was like, "Oh, I bet they just did that because we were like taking too long or something." And I was like, "Yeah, like basically, yeah. If you want to run it down to its basics, but it makes sense, right? Like in a logical mindset that the enemies had holed up or the bad guys had holed up all the survivors in this castle, and so now they're working on a way to get to these survivors by digging up underneath them. So
Right.
I really enjoy building this stuff, but then I also just start really second guessing myself and making
Well,
myself
I
feel
mean, you can't
stupid
help
about
it that
things.
your players are idiots.
Y'all aren't idiots.
I did say though. I did say let's move everybody out as one big group
That's
because we
true.
have strength in numbers, and then we ended up deciding as a group. I mean, there was a lot of thought that went into it though. We did really try in that one. I felt like.
Yeah, no, y'all definitely did, and I feel like it would have paid off, or it definitely was starting to pay off, right? Like Because if y'all had attempted to move them all in one big group, you would have been the fight would have been harder but shorter, right? Like that makes
Right.
sense. So like y'all would have come across the bridge, and all of the enemies would have come up at once, trying to surround you to stop you.
Yeah.
But instead, y'all took them slowly so that you could get a couple of people across, but then the enemy still tried to come up behind you.
Damn, I'm
Daggum
sad I
fucking.
missed out on that.
Yeah, this is honestly one of the better ones in my opinion. It was like a great fucking little fight scene
Man, I made
session.
all of that within the 2 hours before the session.
Look at you fucking go, Jeremy.
God,
Jeremy out here winging it.
I I feel like I don't wing it enough, if we're being honest. Like I can't just like, all right, y'all are in this town. What do you want to do? And then like build a quest off of that. Like I have to have quests set up that then I can be like, all right, here's what you guys can do.
Yeah.
Fine. I've been enjoying the way it's been played out so far. So
Oh yeah.
it works for me.
But and Jeremy, 100% my goal of that one shot will be to hopefully get all of the other guys more into it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To like see what these higher level characters can do, give them something to push towards, give it like I don't know, just try and get them more into it cuz I know a couple of them are like yeah, I play and I enjoy it, but they don't interact a whole lot during the sessions.
Yeah, they
So
just kind of
I just want to
do their
try and
turn
push
and that's
it.
about it.
Yeah, I just want to try and push it to where they they see the potential the game has, you know.
Yeah.
I learned that I had a companion
Yeah.
that I
That's what
wasn't
Jeremy was
using.
saying. He said then you immediately sacrificed it.
Yeah, in like the
Essentially.
first fight, you were like, all right, go kill this dude, and then he immediately got stabbed to death.
Yeah. Hey, that's what the companion's for. Okay, make him go die somewhere.
Yeah, just use
If
him
it
as
never
fodder.
dies, it means I'm not using it.
Fair enough.
I don't know if that's exactly how that's supposed to work, but you do you.
Hey, hold my money. What money's worth, okay? I'll make sure I use him to the fullest. It's pretty sick though. I got a panther. So that's cool.
Stick.
You can get another one after this next session. Or well, after you take a long rest.
And
I do wish that like with Dungeons and Dragons that it was a little simpler, even though, if y'all talk to any D&D enthusiast, they'll tell you that 5th edition, which is what we're playing, is the easy. It's so dumbed down and easy, but it's still very complex for new players.
Oh, absolutely.
Like to just throw someone into it and be like, "All right, you're a 5th level ranger. Here's all your
yeah,
abilities."
Yeah.
kind of like,
Like,
hold on, let me
like,
read.
I gotta read through all this, but then you forget all of it because instead of slowly picking it up over time, you just have all this shit. And you're just like,
Yeah,
Oh
right.
shit, even I fucking slowly picked it up over time, but I still forget half of the shit I can do.
yeah, there's just
And
so much you
I
can
feel
do.
like I'm one of the more experienced players.
Yeah,
Facts.
probably. I mean, I think other than Nick, you played with me and Brandon.
And
Um,
then a little bit with me and another one, our friends from high school.
yeah, but then
But that
everyone
was
else,
like 8 years ago. It's over 8 years ago at this point.
yeah, but then everyone else has no experience, except for I think Gabe. I think Gabe
Yeah.
has some experience, but everyone else is brand new to it, and it just
Yeah.
they seem to enjoy it, but not really want to dive into how to actually get the most out of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. But I really just want to like just jump into like one just super OP session that just kind of highlights, and I may honestly do it with like, may do it as like a future version of themselves or something.
Yeah.
I think that would be kind of fun.
That'd be kind of sick. Yeah.
Just to like maybe like throw it at level 20, and just so they can see like,
Yeah, have god
holy
powers and
shit, how like this is what this game can be,
yeah.
and then
Because it
hopefully
really
get them a little
does.
more.
It really does get to a point where you are just gods. Like you can
Yeah.
just resurrect dead people from within the past century, and you can just smite whole cities with like your god powers.
Yeah.
It's just a
Yes.
great time
Smite
all
me,
around.
oh mighty smiter.
Yes, and the whole city just implodes.
Yeah.
See, I want
So
that
hey
power.
Jeremy,
Hmm.
if we're not playing tonight, maybe you can help me.
Oh, I'm all about it. Let's go. I have a bunch of books. You
Nice.
need some books? I've spent, so kind of sidebar. I've spent a lot of money on Dungeons and Dragons. A lot of money. I have
And the rest of us
so
have spent
many.
zero.
I know. I have so many of the rule books. Like I have the Player's Handbook, the Dungeons Master, the Monsters Guidebook, Tasha's, Mordenkainen's, fucking Fizzbands, fucking Xanathars, like all these goddamn books that each
Yeah.
cost like $60 a piece.
Jesus Christ, Jeremy.
And then I also pay for
The compendium.
well, I pay for the professional version of Roll20, which is like
Ah, shit.
$100 a year or something like that. And then I also pay for a map making software that I use to make all our maps. I put a
Goddamn.
lot of money into this game,
Goddamn.
but it's so much fun and I love it.
It's
Oh,
really
I do
fun.
too.
enjoy it.
I love Dungeons and Dragons.
Right?
See?
Like even the mediocre and like the sessions that you wouldn't really write, you wouldn't write home about. You'd be like, yeah, that's a all right session of Dungeons and Dragons. I feel like even those are great. Like while you're in them, they're just fun.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just a great time.
Ooh. I was kind of curious what y'all thought about the. Do y'all know much about the convoy in Canada?
No, like the
No.
trucker one that's blocking off all the cities and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Not really. If you know
Basically,
more,
they're
I'd love
like
for you to explain it.
trying to protest the vaccine mandates and like mandates in general. And, Trudeau has been basically just ignoring them and trying to slander them and shit like that. But I was going to get y'all's take on it. But, like, how do y'all feel about them protesting and such?
Yeah, so so it's them like again, like you're saying, they're protesting the vaccine mandates, right? Like because they basically like you guys have to get vaccinated if you're coming into Canada, right?
Essentially, to have a job or go to stores and do anything. Pretty much.
Yeah, so then they're
Like to exist as a human and just go and do stuff, you have to be vaccinated and just have proof and stuff.
yeah, which I know a lot of people are very upset about like mandated vaccines, but I personally I'm all about it. All right,
Are you all
like
about the mandates or just the vaccines in
I'm all
general?
about the vaccines. I
Going back
see.
to like episode 2, Mr. fucking, oh, what's the compliance over here?
Mm-hmm. If Daddy Biden tells me I need to get stabbed in the arm with small knives, all about it. All
Excuse
right.
me, it's Grandpappy Biden.
All right, Grandpappy Biden. But I
Well, how do you
so
think? What do y'all think about how Trudeau is handling this situation, though? Because we can sit here and talk about the mandates and shit as we already have before, but I'm more so curious what y'all think. How y'all think Trudeau is handling the situation?
So I saw that like fairly recently, like within the past couple of weeks, right, that he brought their version of the National Guard in
Yeah, he
to
enacted like some
to
kind of emergency shit.
yeah, like not martial law, but kind of martial law to get all the truckers out of the way.
Yeah.
I think that one is fairly justified only because they were blocking up like highways and stuff. Wasn't it costing like both Canada and America like billions of dollars because of like the trade that couldn't happen anymore because of these highways being blocked up?
Something like that, yeah. It was definitely
So
disruptive to trade flow.
yeah, because they were just blocking off entire highways.
Mhm.
But so in that aspect, I kind of get it. I don't know. It's hard to say that they should be shut down or that they shouldn't be shut down because I feel like it's kind of a either argument could go either way.
Well, in my opinion, I kind of with that specifically, them enacting the Emergency Act and shit like that, I think it's excessive. Whereas because they still haven't had discussions with these protesters, like the protesters have requested over and over. The protesters just want to have a conversation, but that still hasn't been given. Right? Like Trudeau still hasn't just sat down and like talked to them.
Yeah, but haven't they also
I mean, all he's
like
done is slandered them, basically calling them racists, violent, and um, essentially that. Like they're saying they're being violent, but having no proof of it and such.
yeah, I don't know. I haven't they also um shoot, what was I saying? Haven't they like the protesters just again they're disrupting all of this business, all these people's lives, like all the people trying to commute to from their homes to their jobs, just
Well,
basically
it's mainly
making it
the trade
impossible.
between U.S. Like they're blocking the U.S. and Canada border.
Well, yeah, but I saw a lot of people around. Is it Toronto? Is that the city that was taking place in? I don't know, but the main city that's
It's
near the
happening all over. It's
blockade.
like Ontario and
Yeah,
Toronto and
but like
stuff.
the main city, it's like almost impossible for just people to get around the city anymore, just because of the sheer amount of trucks on the road. And so that part of it, I don't know. I feel like you can protest without hurting the people that are just trying to go about their day.
Yeah, but we've seen how that goes.
Like in
It usually
Ukraine.
doesn't work. Yeah, usually protesting doesn't work unless you cause some kind of disruption,
Well, you
which is
can look at like France because
they have the
I mean,
yellow jackets or whatever they are.
worldwide, France is known for their people protesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'd be like, "Oh, coffee went up a cents per fucking cup." Protest that,
You done fucked up, Skippy.
and the entire country will shut down with these protests.
Mm-hmm.
And
Pretty
so,
crazy.
I mean, the honest, like, I don't know a whole lot about it, but the best way for a protest to be successful is to shut off production, basically.
Cause
Because
problems.
if all of these truckers are stopped, if all of these truckers aren't hauling loads for the people, the government's not making the tax money on that stuff because they're not selling anything. So like I said, I don't know a whole lot about it, so I don't know exactly how Trudeau's handling it. But it's not going to stop unless he actually like uh oh, what's a good word for it? Like unless he actually like looks at it and responds to
Yeah,
it.
like gets involved in it.
Yeah, yeah. So these truckers, I mean, if they're noble to the cause, they'll sit there for as long as they fucking need to. And so the longer Trudeau puts it off, the longer the government's losing money, the longer he just sits there on his ass doing nothing, nothing's going to get done. because he's the one that has to make that decision. Or, well, I say the government's the one that has to make that decision. Do I agree that they should be arguing against vaccine mandates, stuff like that? Like, yes and no. I don't fully agree with mandating it. I agree with recommending it strongly. But absolute mandating it, saying if you don't have this, you can't work in our country. It's taking freedoms away, and I don't like that. But for the most part, he's got to face it, because they're not going to stop if he doesn't face it.
Yeah. Well, but so then we can get back into the argument with like mandating and all that, and isn't it more important to protect the entire populace than it is to protect a singular person's rights?
Oh, that comes down to it's not a singular person's rights. You're mandating it for your entire populace, so you're eliminating an entire populace's right to that decision. So it's kind of like, is everyone being safe truly worth everyone losing their freedom? Which is kind of an exaggerated way to
Yeah,
put it, but
I guess. I
essentially
mean,
it is.
I feel like my whole aspect of it is, are the vaccines hurting you?
No, but they've been shown to cause myocarditis in certain cases and such
Yeah,
stuff like that.
but
So they're not completely harmless.
it's a very minute percentage of it that's causing this, right?
It's less than COVID, or I think it's more than COVID kills you. Like the likelihood of you having an adverse reaction to the vaccines is higher than what it would be, like than you are likely to get COVID or something like that. I think, or something weird. Maybe not get COVID, but die from COVID specifically.
Yeah, but
Don't quote me
then
on
you
that.
start getting into, yeah, we're just disclaimer, we're just throwing out a bunch of random garbage knowledge. None of this
Yeah,
is
this is
fact.
like,
None of
yeah,
it.
none of this is
None of
based
it.
on
All right.
anything.
But see, then I start I start thinking about, my mindset always goes towards like my grandparents and who are very immunocompromised. If I were to get COVID, I'd be fine, right? Like if I got COVID,
Mhm.
there's like a 90% chance I'd live through it and I'd be okay. But then what if I gave it to some 80-year-old who can't, stand on their own, and then it kills them? That's on my mindset is that then that's on me.
Well, I mean,
That's
that
my
person should have
fault.
been vaccinated.
Well, but even vaccinated, you can still get it. You just
You can
like
still
the
spread it too.
symptoms. Yeah, you can still get it and spread it. It's just the symptoms are reduced. But for an 80, 90-year-old person, even reduced symptoms can be enough to kill them.
Right, and I understand that. And since you can, so with that being, that being out there, since the vaccines don't protect you fully from it, and what if you get the vaccine and then still get that 80-year-old person sick with it and they still die from it? Would you still not feel bad, or would you feel okay just because it wasn't your fault? Right, you could have something to blame essentially.
Yeah, no, I would still, personally, I would still feel like absolute garbage. I
Same.
remember a couple months into the pandemic, I thought I had COVID. I went into work one day and I felt awful, like I felt tired. I bought a soda from the front of the store and I was drinking it and I was like, I can't taste this. I taste nothing right now. I was like, oh shit, what if I have COVID? And so then I told my boss and I went home and I quarantined myself for like 2 weeks.
Hmm.
Like, even I stayed in my room with my door shut. Anytime I went out of my room just to get food or something, I would wear a mask because I didn't want to give it to my roommates. Like I was very concerned about spreading it to other people because I was like, yeah, I'll be fine. Like I'm not the healthiest person, but I'll be fine. Like I'm in the age range, in the the certain body class or whatever, that this probably won't kill me. But
Yeah.
the thought of giving it to someone else like terrifies me to no end. So then I go into just give me the vaccine. Like, if it helps even 1%, I'll take it, because that's 1% more of being helpful.
Which I totally understand, and I'm totally cool with people doing that. I have no problem with people getting the vaccine or anything like that. My main problem is with the mandates, making people do something that they might otherwise not do if they weren't made to. And it comes down to the vaccines aren't foolproof, right? Like you can't, they're not 100%. And whenever they first came out, they were telling you, oh, you'll be fine, just get the vaccine. And a lot of people will say that, oh, if he had had the vaccine, he wouldn't have gotten that person sick. I'm like, yeah, but there's also a lot of people who were vaccinated who have died from it still.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, well, what's the point? I'm sure it helps, right? So
Yeah.
if you think it'll help, go for it. But for me personally, like if I get COVID and I get somebody else sick and they're vaccinated as well, like I'm vaccinated. So if I get COVID and then I get somebody else sick and they die from it and they're vaccinated too, like I'm not gonna feel good and be like, oh, I'm not gonna not feel bad. I won't feel any better about it because I
Yeah.
was vaccinated, or because I am.
Yeah.
And the same kind of thing. It's like I didn't get the vaccine because of those reasons, right? Like I'm not really worried about getting people sick with it because if I do get COVID, I can always wear a mask and all that happy shit. So the vaccines seem to me to be like, if you're immunocompromised, for sure. If you're older, for sure. But if you're a fully healthy adult, I kind of don't see a point because your immune system is as good as the vaccines are, and
Yeah.
especially if you've had COVID before, it doesn't wane.
Well,
It does,
and
lasts long.
and I did get vaccinated because at the time I got vaccinated, I had an 8-month-old son at home.
Right.
I had a wife who, in the early days of COVID, had some of the underlying conditions that said this is going to be more deadly for her. And so we both got vaccinated so that I could protect her and my son.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had COVID early on because I had most of the symptoms, but I don't know because the test came back negative. Or I didn't get tested because I thought, it's just the flu. But we didn't know. They didn't get sick, so we were okay. But then when the vaccine became available to us, we went ahead and got vaccinated. And I did it for a selfish reason. I wasn't like, I'm getting vaccinated to save the population. I was like, no, I'm getting vaccinated to save my girl and my kid because they're at home staying out of all of this. I'm the one that has to
So
go out into the public and
if you
work.
bring it home,
Yeah.
that'd be
Well,
some
I'm
big
the
doo
one
doo.
that has to go out and work. I have to be around people. I have to do this. I have to do that. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to take the risk of bringing it home to her and putting them at risk.
Makes
That's
sense.
why I did it.
Yeah.
I didn't do it for jack shit anybody else. I did it for me.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I mean, I don't think you should be forced to do something for the betterment of your country, right? I mean, that sounds kind of bad, but like it should always be a choice. But then you can start making the argument of like, yeah, it's a choice, but why wouldn't you choose the one that betters everyone? Because my like personal, and once again, all this is just hearsay. I have not done a whole lot of research into the vaccines. All I know is that the majority of people I know that have gotten them, I've gotten them, haven't had any really bad side effects. Everyone's still living and healthy. And even, again, like I was saying, even if it decreases the chance of you getting or spreading COVID by 1%, I just feel like it's a better option of the two, right? Like the positives outweigh the negatives.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's also the likelihood of you getting sick from getting the vaccine too. That slim chance, it may be you may be 1% less likely to, get somebody else sick. There's also that 1% chance that you yourself will have an adverse reaction.
Yeah, Like, it's such a small percentile.
I just wish that it was left up to personal choice, right? Because like a lot of people feel very differently about it just across the board, and just to lump everybody in together into one kind of a thought process forcibly, it seems to be a little
Yeah, but even if
So,
you
excessive.
even if you are saying everyone should have their own choice, there's a lot of situations where that's a really bad thing. Like, we can throw it to um, the whole Ukraine situation. Putin has his choice of what he wants to do, and he decided to invade an entire country and absolutely just destroy people's lives. But that's his choice, so why shouldn't he be allowed to do that?
Well, I mean that's because he's putting a bunch of other people in danger and taking over an entire country.
Yeah, but it's his choice.
and so, how many people do you come in contact with on a daily basis?
I mean, it can range anywhere from like 5 to like 100 people.
Okay, so back to Nick's argument of Putin's choice has to be considered because he's putting a bunch of other people at risk and doing this and that.
Just to clarify real quick, I'm not for what Putin's doing. Just to
No,
make
I'm
sure
not.
No one
this,
is.
this
I
is
am.
Let's make that clear.
I just
No
wanna
one
make sure
is.
That's like clear. I don't agree with what's
Yeah,
going
nah,
on in
fuck
Ukraine.
Putin.
and I'm not saying that you are. It's not where my argument's going at all.
Yeah. I just want to make sure that was
Yeah.
clarified real quick.
Yeah, but saying that, well, his choice has to be weighted because he's putting a bunch of other people at risk. So these people not getting vaccines, seeing 5 to 100 people a day, who's each of those 5 to 100 people are seeing 5 to 100 people a day. So isn't that one guy not getting a vaccine also putting a bunch of people's lives at risk?
Sure. You could say that.
And so their decisions should be weighted with the same I mean, it's not the same but different, but still same.
But different.
That's a great movie.
It's a great movie.
Uh,
When do you think they're going to come out with the interview, but with Putin?
oh, bro, I'd watch that movie.
Anyways, you were saying.
But yeah, so shouldn't their decisions be looked at with that same scrutiny of, well, if, like, not necessarily saying yes, mandate it, but saying, well, you should really consider, because if you don't do this, the neighbors in your subdivision, they could get sick, and those people getting sick could get this many other people sick. It's a growing trend. It's not, oh, I'm not going to get vaccinated and the world's going to go back to normal. It's the world will be helped on its way back to normal if you get vaccinated.
Yeah, but if you look at the fatality rate of the vaccines, you're not really putting that people's lives at the same level of threat as going to war.
Well, no,
you have a 99%
that's
possibility of surviving COVID if you're a healthy adult. That's why I say if you're not healthy, you have pre-existing conditions, or are elderly, totally get the vaccine. I totally agree with that. But if you're a 20-something, 30-something adult, I don't see the same risk.
I think it plays into the, as a 20-something-year-old, yeah, you're going to survive it, no problem.
That's what I'm saying.
If the vaccine helps you in any way prevent from giving it to someone who won't survive it, then why not take the vaccine?
Because there's no guarantee that the vaccine will prevent it, right?
I mean, there's no guarantee, but there's a chance that it will help.
It's more likely that you won't get it, or your symptoms will be non-contagious.
Yeah.
But it's
So-
also
Continue.
an argument of, like Nick was saying, well, the risk of getting the vaccine is higher than the risk of getting COVID, like in dangerous cases, whatever. So that can fall back on lapses in the American healthcare system. Because I guarantee if you look at countries that have better healthcare systems that are government subsidized, stuff like that, where people can actually afford to go to the doctor and have allergen tests done, stuff like that. Because most of these cases where the vaccine is causing bad reactions, they're allergic reactions.
Well, most of it's been in like teenagers and younger adults.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Was
but
that-
a lot of it is still allergic reactions where if you knew what the fuck you were allergic to, you could go ask your doctor, be like, hey, will it be okay if I get this vaccine? And if the doctor says,
Primarily.
no, you're allergic to something in it, then you don't get it. Or, like us, oh yeah, I'm going to go get it, and you fucking die because you're allergic to some little specific thing in the vaccine. You just SOL.
Right.
Shit out of luck for
Well,
anybody
most of
that
it's been
doesn't understand that.
myocarditis and shit like that. It's not really an allergy. It's just a adverse reaction.
Yeah. But it's also kind of the idea of like herd immunity, right? Where the majority of the herd should get the immunity so that the small percentage that can't is still okay because everyone
herd-
else has it.
Herd immunity is based on the idea that we don't get vaccinated, all of us get sick, and then we just become immune to it. Because the immunity from getting the antibodies from having and recovering are stronger and last substantially longer than getting the vaccine.
Yeah, that's fair. But
From what I've seen.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I
I mean
get what
that's
you're
also
saying, right?
that like you're gonna lose human lives if you only do that.
Yeah.
Like I say, I mean I think it should be a choice. Like if you'd rather, but it should be done safely, right? There should be precautions in place to where whatever you want to do, you can. Which there are. There are masks. There's social distancing. There's quarantine. So I mean I don't think everybody being vaccinated is like the end all be all because the vaccines don't work 100%. So in theory, if everybody was vaccinated, we would still be having COVID cases. In
Yeah,
theory.
but
it's also the really stupid overlooked part that the media never wants to touch on. Do you know what the common cold is?
nope,
Yeah,
never heard of it.
course.
It's a coronavirus.
Yeah.
It's been that way for as long as we can fucking remember.
And you
It's
know
a
what we do about it?
coronavirus.
We do
Nothing.
absolutely fucking nothing.
Get vaccinated every year.
No, not from the cold.
The cold. The common cold.
Yeah,
Not
I'm
the
thinking
flu.
of the flu. Yeah. You're
Not
right.
the flu. The common cold. We do jack shit for it.
Yeah, because its fatality rate's so low that it doesn't.
And you know what the new strain
So
of COVID is?
it's cold.
It's the common cold.
It's always been the cold, Brandon. It's just been the flu or the cold. That's new conspiracy. COVID never existed. It's always just been the flu.
Well, but let me throw this at you. So the cold, we consider it not that important, right? Like it's just a cold, but it does still kill thousands of people every single year. So should we not still be trying to solve that issue?
Well, answer this for me then. If the cold still kills people, thousands of people, if not more, yearly, why is it not a bigger deal?
Exactly.
Why is COVID such a big deal and the cold isn't?
Exactly. Like we've accepted that the cold is there and it kills people, but we're just like, nah, it's fine. But we're in the middle of COVID, and if we could prevent COVID from becoming the new cold that kills thousands of people a year and we're just okay with it, why shouldn't we? Why shouldn't we try to stop that?
because I feel like it's because the amount of people that the cold and COVID kill is so low in comparison to literally anything else, such as starvation, that, in my opinion, we focus on the wrong things, right? Like, there are things that kill way more people yearly and daily than the cold, COVID, and all of that shit altogether.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I
So,
agree with you. Like, they definitely things that kill more, but aren't any deaths bad deaths?
right.
Well,
Right, but
yes.
I mean, you can't fix everything, all at once. I mean, unless everything was COVID, and then we would have vaccines and fucking new ways to fight it every fucking month.
I mean, we
But
have new flu and I don't know about cold. I mean, we have new cold medicine all the time, but we have new flu vaccines every year and all this stuff, and people don't take those.
Well, and flu shots are a guess at what the mutation might be that year.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just like this was what it did last year, so maybe it'll do that this year. So this is what we'll give out until we get some more information, and then we'll change it.
just a disclaimer: if anybody decides to make any medical decisions based off what we say in this
Oh, God,
podcast,
no.
don't consult
Yeah.
your doctor.
You're dummies.
Please consult your
Don't
doctor. Don't
don't
listen to
make
us.
any life-changing decisions based on what we're saying because we're spitting
3
garbage.
idiots.
Yes,
And you
we're
should
3
know
idiots.
better because this is the completely
Yeah, this is
pointless
completely
podcast.
pointless.
Yes.
Yeah, when it comes down to all this like vaccine stuff, I feel like I have a very skewed viewpoint in that and this is going to sound really sad, I don't think I matter that much in today's society. Like, I don't have kids, I don't have a wife, I don't have any really plans for having either of those. I'm just a dude that works electrician jobs. Like, I feel like I'm a very, very low percentage of the whole like community where so that kind of justifies like, all right, yeah, give me the vaccines, let me be your test subject because somebody's got to get this to make sure it doesn't kill everybody, so give it to me.
But Jeremy, you do matter. Because if you weren't here, I wouldn't have somebody to DM my Dungeons and Dragons game.
Don't worry, Brandon, I would leave you the sign in for my Google Docs with all my Dungeon and Dragon stuff, and I would also leave you my truck so that you can have stuff moved for you.
Oh hell yeah!
Hey, Brandon's gonna drive a Ford.
It runs
Oh,
very
fuck.
badly. It runs very badly.
I mean, it's a Ford. Do they ever run good?
It did up until like 2 years ago.
What happened?
It's
Triton.
Oh, wait,
it's
is there
a
a
lot
5.4
of
in it?
Yes.
yeah, it's a lot of spark plug issues. All the issues I've
Of
had
course.
are ignition coils
Yes.
and spark plugs and all that shit. Just going absolute shit in them.
I hope everybody who drives a Ford is hearing this and is fucking crying right now.
I mean,
Because that's
probably.
every single 5.4 Triton's life. Just,
Yeah.
spark plug and ignition issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
Congratulations.
For me, it's just I'm sure both of you have worked on Fords before, but the way mine is set up is I don't know what it's called, but whenever you hit a puddle, all the water is like funneled up, hits the hood cover, and then is funneled back towards the back left of the engine, which
Do you
is
not have fender
exactly.
liners?
I mean, I do, but like the way it works out is that all this water and shit is just dumped.
The way they're gapped
Yeah,
is
is just dumped right on the back, like driver's side ignition
Fuck.
coil. So that one coil is covered in dirt. It's filthy. It never runs clean, and then it just falls apart basically.
I will say I've never seen any GMs have that issue of like getting water into the engine bay.
Yeah, I mean none of
If
the
they,
water
ha-
makes
if
it
they have
into
their
the
fender
engine bay.
liners.
I mean none of the water makes it into the engine bay. I mean, I guess it does. I don't know.
Where the fuck does your coil sit?
It runs bad. It runs very bad, and it's always that back left spark plug that doesn't fire correctly, or I had an ignition coil like
good old cylinder
like
8.
splinter. It's not
Yep.
good.
Good old
Oh, sorry,
cylinder
no.
8.
Yeah, it's cylinder
it's
8.
cylinder 8. I think
It's
so,
not
yeah.
cylinder
Back
7.
left.
Back left, yeah. Yeah,
No.
it's not great.
Hey, dude, I don't know like what Ford's horniness is with reinventing spark plugs.
Well, you know, it's all about the advancement and like the
I
technological
swear to
aspect.
God.
I will drive over to your house right now and slap you in the goddamn throat.
Punch his shoulder.
Oh
I'll punch
god.
his shoulder.
Play overcooked with him and punch his shoulder.
I
Yes.
love Overcooked. It's so
Especially when
good.
he's doing good.
Do it.
Absolutely.
Do
Only
it.
when he's doing good.
God damn. Well, on that
Oh,
note, boys, we've about hit our time. Is there anything
Already?
you'll want to clear up? Yeah, we're exactly 2 hours. Anything you'll want to clear up before we post this to the internet forever and get canceled?
Take everything we say with a grain of salt. We're 3 idiots.
Yeah, none of our information is backed by science.
All right. If you feel like anything we say triggers or offends you, don't let it, because we're idiots.
Yes.
You're literally being triggered by idiots. Don't
Absolutely.
don't give our idiocy confirmation by becoming triggered by it.
I mean, I couldn't have put it better myself. Well, with that, if you guys want to listen to any more podcasts, we are on Spotify, YouTube, and RSS.com. We might eventually come to Apple Podcasts, but Apple sucks, so maybe not.
Yeah,
I've had so many people ask us when we're coming to the Apple space.
And
God
maybe
damn
we
it.
should. We
Yeah,
might.
there's a whole
Honestly,
Don't you
group
have
it's
of
a
to
really
pay?
good platform.
Don't you have to pay to post to there, though?
I don't know.
I think you do. We're gonna look into it, and if we have to pay, we're probably not gonna come to it for a while.
At least not yet.
Yeah, but yeah, Spotify, YouTube, RSS, all at completely pointless. We also have a Twitter account now. Our @ is Pointless Pods, right?
I think so. I'm not 100%
And the
sure.
fact that none of us know that, I believe it's
I believe
Pointless
so.
Pods, capital P on the Pointless, capital PODS on the Pods.
Let me look.
I
That
am
sounds
gonna
right.
attempt to make a post anytime we post a new video, which should be on Sundays, like we said last time. If you have anything you want to ask us, any topic ideas, anything you want to hear us babble about for 2 hours, let us know. Send it to us on Twitter, and we might see it, because I don't think any of us actually are checking the DMs.
I mean, I can check right now. We have no messages.
Oh, damn. I'm going to send us a message just so we don't feel bad about it.
Nah, dude. So far, all it is fucking, I guess, responses or whatever to the Prime Minister of India. That's all of our notifications.
Hey, we got to know what he's saying, all right? It's important
Dude,
information.
I can't read any of it because it's all in Indian too. I'm like,
Oh, crap.
or whatever language it is. I don't want to fucking
You don't want
say
to
that
learn a
wrong.
whole new language.
Reiterating. We're
What-
3 idiots.
What is their language? Check. Is it Indian? Is it like
No.
Swahili or some bullshit?
No, that's
that's somewhere in
somewhere in
Africa.
Hold on, I
Africa.
can Google this. What language is
Indian.
spoken?
I think there's like a bunch.
I think it's a
Hindi.
bunch. Everywhere but America, they speak multiple languages. But
It's
anyways,
apparently Hindi, so it's all in Hindi, and I
Hindi?
can't fucking read
Ah.
it.
oh, okay. Well, but
Which is
anyways,
probably for the best.
we're out there for tonight. I hope everybody has a good week, and I hope you will join us next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.